And my name is Haile Tadesse. Bukola Agbola is also joining with us today to present this. So just to give you a little bit, my background is environmental science, GIS, remote sensing, watershed modeling. Bukola, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Nice to have you present. My name is Bukola Agbola, a GIS specialist with the department, the EJ lab. My background is in GIS, remote sensing, and field work. Nice to have everyone present.
Yeah, thank you, Bukola. Lauren, did you start the recording?
Yes, it started.
Okay, thank you. So let's start. So we are going to present the Mid-Atlantic EJSCREEN tool, which is developed in 2023 and is now public. So just to give you a little bit introduction about what is environmental justice. So environmental justice is a fair treatment and meaningful involvement of all people regardless of race, color, national origin, income with respect to the development, implementation, and enforcement of environmental laws, regulations, and policies. So the Executive Order 12898 directed federal agencies to develop environmental justice strategies to help federal agencies address disproportionately high and adverse human health and environmental effects of their programs on minority and low-income populations. The Presidential Memorandum 1994 accompanied order of underscores certain provisions existing laws that can help that all communities and persons across the nation in a safe and healthy environment. So as you can see, what is EJ disparities? So environmental health disparities exist when communities exposed to a combination of poor environmental quality, social inequalities, have more sickness and disease when weather less polluted communities. Most studies have found statistically significant racial and socioeconomic disparities associated with hazardous sites. So what is environmental justice screening tool? So environmental justice screening tool is a tool that utilizes standard and consistent data to highlight places that may have higher environmental burdens and vulnerable populations. The tool offers a variety of powerful data and mapping capabilities that enable users to access health, environmental, climate, demographic information at high geographic resolution across the entire country, region, state, displayed the color-coded maps and standard data reports. These maps and reports show how a selected location compares to the rest of the nation, EPA region, state, county, or census tracts. All those data are processed and shared with the public using GIS software and ArcGIS Online. So just to give you a brief definition about GIS, because all those EJ screening tools are developed using GIS. So a geographic information system, which is GIS, is a computer system for capturing, storing, carrying, analyzing, and displaying geospatial data. GIS allows the geographic features in a real-world locations to be digitally represented, stored in a database, and the data can be presented in map form, analyzed, and manipulated to address problems. So as you can see, you can have the street data, building data, vegetation data, and all those data can be combined together using GIS capabilities and develop maps like this. You have FEMA, risk maps, you have the EPA EJSCREEN tool, so you can have this. So to do GIS, what do you need? to do any GIS work, you need first data, you need methods, you need the software, you need the hardware, but also you need people skilled in this. So by combining all those components, you will produce GIS products. So you can combine information related to customers, streets, parcels, elevation, land use, and all this can be together in a single map by GIS capabilities. So why do we need Mid-Atlantic EJSCREEN? It is created to focus on environmental justice issues in the region and identifying disadvantaged communities at local, state, and regional level. It allows users to explore layers of environmental justice concern, determine the overall EJ score for census tracts in the region. The tool helps to compare, analyze scores and domain scores with the Mid-Atlantic state and the county level statistics. So it's possible to check what's happening related to climate and health hazards in the region. So what are the data sources to develop this tool? So data was gathered from a variety of sources, and indicators were identified based on literature review. So in order to be included as an indicator, we have to search a literature whether this indicator is important or not. So we have 5 domains, which are health, climate, demographic, environment, and environmental exposure. So we collected those data from EPA, CDC, the Council on Environmental Quality and Climate and Economic Justice Screening Tool. And most of the climate change indicators are from FEMA. The health indicators are collected from CDC places. Additional data sources included in this study came from NASA and from USDA. So what are the health indicators included? We included asthma, cancer, diabetics, health disease, high blood pressure, poor mental health, depression, high cholesterol, stroke, and COVID. The climate indicators include coastal flooding, drought, hail, hurricane, landslide, wind, tornado, volcanic activity, wildlife, and winter weather. What are the demographic indicators included? Those are people of color, low income, high school graduation, English speaking, age, unemployment, like housing costs, lack of broadband access, lack of health insurance, civilian with disabilities are included. The environmental exposure indicators are related to air toxic cancer risk, air toxic respiratory hazard index, diesel particulate matter PM 2.5, ozone traffic proximity and volume, nitrogen dioxide level, carbon dioxide level, methane emissions. The environmental effects are like lead paint, proximity to risk management plan, proximity to treatment storage disposal, NPL sites, waste discharge facilities, hazardous waste proximity, Superfund proximity, toxic release inventory sites, underground storage tanks, coal mines, lead mines, lack of green cover. So how did we combine all this data? We have many data. So how did we combine and bring it in a single map to be viewed for the public? So to calculate the EJ scores, a methodology similar to the used by California Environmental Screen was applied. The raw indicator scores were ranked from lowest to the highest at census tract level and then assigned percentile values from 0 to 100, means 0 is good, 100 is bad. These values are averaged to create 2 scores per census tract, the population characteristic score and population burden score. So as you can see, this legend, you have from 0 to 100. So the red means it's bad related to environmental justice issues. So we are going to talk about percentile in this whole presentation. So what does mean percentile score in this context? So the percentile is a term that describes how a score compares to the other scores from the same set. So it is from 0 to 100. So if we say 90 percentile, it means there are like 10 above and the rest is below. So the data processing for this is used by converting all this data to GIS format using ArcGIS. So at the same time, because different agencies collect data using different methods, and at the same time, the data format collection system may be used a different census tract year. So some organizations collect the data using 2020, some use 2010. So we have to convert all those data to be in the same format. So we use the 2020 census tracts for this tool development. So after we process all this in ArcGIS, we export this to ArcGIS online and use Experience Builder to use it to develop the EJSCREEN tool. At the same time, we also use Microsoft Excel for some processings. So to summarize the methodology, as you can see here, we have climate, 17 indicators, environmental exposure, 9, effect, 13, health, 10, socioeconomic, 16. And as you can see, the pollution border is an average value for the exposure, climate, and effect. The population characteristics is an average value for the health and socioeconomic data. So in the figure also try to show you climate change, environmental effect, environmental exposure comes together to produce pollution burden, whereas the health and the socioeconomic factor combines the population characteristics. Then finally, we use those two characters to produce the final product composite EJ score. So I will just give you maybe 2 minutes to read this question, or I can put these questions in the chat. So you can put your answers in the chat just to have some question and answers. Or if you have question, maybe we can, I can pause a little bit here. You can put your answers in the chat. So the first question is, Executive Order 12899, federal action to address environmental justice in minority populations and low-income populations were issued by President Clinton. When did the president sign this order? How many domains and indicators are included in this EJSCREEN tool? Please list the greenhouse gases included in this tool. Can we obtain a cumulative EJ score from the Mid-Atlantic EJSCREEN tool? So you can answer your questions, the answers in this. Yeah, I think the first question is answered by Eric. That's 1994. Maybe let's wait for the other questions. Yeah, 5 domains, great. And the next is greenhouse gas. Okay, carbon dioxide, methane, and there is one also. NO2, yeah, great, great. So can we get a cumulative EJSCREEN score from Mid-Atlantic EJSCREEN? That's the final question. Yes, I think that's it to save time. So because, for example, there is no EPA EJSCREEN right now, but there was no cumulative EJSCREEN score from EPA. So the Mid-Atlantic EJSCREEN gives you a cumulative, which is overall score for your specific area. So let's continue. Oh, sorry. Okay, so the EJSCREEN tool we have looks like this. So you can go to I can put this, or Bukola maybe put this in the chat. So you can go to this website, it's public. You can go ahead and try to see what's happening in your local areas. Search what is the cumulative EJ score, what is the health score, what's the effect score, what's the exposure score, climate score. Not only those domain scores, you can also get the individual indicator scores for each census tract. So you can go and while I'm presenting, you can check the website. And when I finish, we are going to have a demo and questions and answers. So as you can see, after we do all these processings and mapping and designing and sharing it to the public, which we also try to have some analysis based on those data. So we say, okay, where are those top 25 census tracts with the highest cumulative EJ score in the region? When we try to see that, as you can see, we have Baltimore City with 9. Berks and Delaware County in Pennsylvania has 3 census tracts. Cobbell County in West Virginia and Richmond City has 2. And there are also some areas, some counties with some of them 1 census tract. So as you can see, Baltimore City has the highest number of census tracts out of those top 25 census tracts, which are really affected, highly affected by issues related to all these indicators we calculated. So we also try to compare state by state and say, okay, where are those census tracts above 75 percentile? And as you can see, for example, Delaware have 71, District of Columbia has 68, Maryland has 337, but when you compare it like by percentage, the highest percentage is 46.34, which is West Virginia, followed by District of Columbia and Pennsylvania. So the lowest overall is in Virginia, which is 16% of that. So as you can see, the map also shows you where are those located with scores above 75. So you can see along the major roads and along those major cities in the region score greater than 75 cumulative EJ scores. What about if we try to analyze cumulative EJ scores above the 90th percentile? So as you can see, District of Columbia has the highest percentage, which is 21%, followed by West Virginia 13 and Pennsylvania 12.8%. So, I mean, still DC, West Virginia are the top in both. We also try to see the 95 percentile. Where are those? So you can see DC has 24. Maryland has 86 census tracts, but when we see the percentile, District of Columbia has 11.6, West Virginia has 7, Pennsylvania has 6, Maryland 5.8, and Delaware 4.6, like that. So what about the environmental effects map? How it looks like? So as you can see, it is very hard to to make conclusion based on this map, but you can also see the statistics following that. What about the exposure? The exposure looks more, along the major highway, major cities are high, which is red, which is greater than 60 and 80 percentile scores. So what about if we compare it statistically? Okay, what about state by state, and at the same time compare the environmental exposure and environmental effects? So as you can see, for example, very distinct difference here is in Washington, D.C., there are 205 census tracts with a score greater than or equal to 75 percentile, but the effect has 117. And you can also think about why the reason on this high environmental exposure, high scores in the Washington, D.C. You can compare like West Virginia, the environmental exposure is very low, but the census tracts above 75 in effect is 96. So you can compare also which domain is a significant problem in your state, in your county, maybe in your district also. By the way, we can also summarize these values based on the district maps to contact your representatives and discuss about these issues. So you can also try to analyze based on this. So the health map looks like this. The climate change looks like this, and demographic like this. But we can also try to analyze based on those statistical measures and say, okay, what's happening in the lower? Is it issue with socioeconomic factor? Is it health? Is it climate? So you can compare it side by side. And as you can see, for example, in Pennsylvania, and socioeconomic problem, there are 906 census tracts, 739 with health issues, and climate is for 445. So you can try to see what's happening based on this domain, and at the same time, you can also go deep and compare the indicators in each. So you can also compare the maps and see, okay, I live in Washington, D.C., what's happening in my city. And you can see, the borders like southeast, northeast areas has highest, which is red. And in Delaware, you can see the northern part, which is a major city in the 95 corridor, is very high, and at the same time, the south west also has issues with environmental issues. What about if we say, okay, let's select the top 10 worst census tracts in District of Columbia in Delaware? So you can see, for example, if you know your census tract code, you can see and you can identify your census tract, what's happening in your area. So by the way, census tract, it is the first 2 digits is the state, which is 10, for example, Delaware, and the 3 next are the county, and the rest is the census tract ID. But when you write, you have to write it the whole. So as you can see also, when we see the 75 percentile in DC, almost all those census tracts are in southeast and northeast part of the city. You can also get statistics or report for each census tract, and you can, by the way, just Google. For example, here we Google 4200 Martin Luther King Jr., and you'll find the census tracts next to this dot. For example, in this zooming area, we have 4 census tracts. So you will see the socioeconomic score, the EJSCREEN score, the climate score, the exposure score. So you will find all the scores in that particular area. This is Dover, Delaware. You can see you can also Google the city, and you will have, and zoom in and zoom out, and you will find what's happening in that particular area. So this looks the Maryland EJSCREEN for Maryland. So you can see the major cities are highly affected. And the top 10 worst affected census tracts in Maryland are listed here. As you can see, the code for Baltimore City is 510. So almost all are in Baltimore City. And we try to analyze based on the county also. So the county statistics, as you can see, shows us Baltimore City has the highest overall EGI score. And at the same time, you can compare what's happening with respect to environmental exposure, effect, climate, health, and socioeconomic issues in the city. For example, Caroline County has very low exposure, but it has climate issue high, at the same time, health and socioeconomic problems. So the Maryland score, which is 75 percentile and above, as you can see, those are concentrated around Baltimore City, around PG County, and some areas scattered throughout the state. So for example, just if you Google Baltimore in this map, and it gives you this area when you zoom in and zoom out, and you will see what's happening in the neighboring census tracts in this zooming, in this map. Morgan State University, when you Google Morgan State University and zoom in and zoom out, whatever census tract surrounding that area, you will find the values. So Pennsylvania Composites map looks like this. And when you say, okay, what about the top 10? I think this is maybe affecting the viewing. So as you can see, there are 10 top scores in Pennsylvania. Oh, sorry. I don't know what happened, so sorry. Okay. So the census tracts with score 75 and above in Pennsylvania looks like this. And as you can see, they are concentrated around Philadelphia areas and Pittsburgh city of Pittsburgh. And the highest score, when we compare it by county, will be Philadelphia, Montour, Lebanon, Levin, and as follows. So when you check also Philadelphia and see the statistics for the city and the surrounding census tracts. So the number of census tracts you will see depends on your zoom and zoom in, zoom out and zoom in thing. So this is Overbrook Environmental Education Center in Philadelphia, and the scores around that area looks like this. The environmental exposure, socioeconomic, and effects are also indicated here. So this is Virginia. The top 10 worst affected census tracts in Virginia are the followings. There are many in, I think, around 3, 4, 5 in Richmond and other parts of the state. So as you can see, the 75 and above map shows you where those census tracts are located. You can also summarize the values based on county, and as you can see, Norton City has the highest score, followed by Henry and Martinsville City and Petersburg City. Virginia State University, in the address around that census tracts, the values are the following. As you can see, there are very high scores in some census tracts and some are very low in some domains. This is Alexandria, Virginia. This is West Virginia. As we said, West Virginia has the highest score, so it is almost covered red. So the 75 percentile, the southwest part of the state is highly affected by environmental justice issues. The counties are Wayne, Mingo, McDowell, Bonny, Mercer has the highest scores in the state. West Virginia, just the center, and West Virginia State University, the scores. So the summary is West Virginia has the highest percentage of census tracts with scores above the 75 percentile, followed by Pennsylvania and DC. DC has the highest percentage of census tracts with scores above the 90 percentile, followed by West Virginia and Pennsylvania. And the major cities, DC, Baltimore, Philadelphia, has also the highest score in the region. So, I mean, what is the limitation of this tool? So any tool has its own limitations. So it's important to acknowledge that EJSCREEN is not a thorough risk analysis tool. It is an assessment. The first limitation arises because the screening tool cannot capture all the relevant issues that should be considered. And it's not a diagnostic tool to give you like a perfect solution for a specific problem. So, for example, data on environmental factors such as drinking water quality, indoor air quality are not available with adequate quality. So that's one, those are some limitations. So I have another question here and I will put this also in the chat. So you can answer those questions and we will discuss. The point we are putting this question is just to be, interactive, and you can go to the tool and search what's happening in that specific area and identify those issues. So that's the questions, and well, I will go for the demo. Okay, I hope you see my new screen. Can you let me know?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, great, thank you. So the tool look like this, and I hope everybody has access. If you have any issue, can you let us know in the chat? Yeah, so I will just go and as you can see, you can go back to all those, the whole thing, and you can zoom in, zoom out. You can go specific place, whatever you want by dragging it. And at the same time, you can also search your specific area and go to that specific so let's go to Baltimore. So as you can see, we are in Baltimore right now, and we are in the overall EGI. So when you go to that specific area from the EGI, you are going to all those domains in the same area. So when you click health, it go directly to that area. Environmental effect, it go directly to that specific area. Climate change and demographic. So one thing you can do is when you click in one area, you will see this is a census tract. This polygon represents the census tract. You are clicking that. So when you click here, you will see you are in Maryland. The county is 510. You have the census tract ID. You have the value, which is the environmental exposure, 0.9, environmental effect, 0.8, demography, the 1, and climate change, 0.7, health, and the overall score is 1. So you can do this and check individual scores, and you can also click the domains and go to the specific indicators list. As you can see, we have high blood pressure, cancer, asthma, heart disease, COVID, diabetic, high cholesterol, poor mental health, stroke, depression, and overall score. So you can click in whatever place or location you want. So you can find the values. So you can see the legend here means 0 means your area is okay. The red means in terms of environmental justice issues, it's not okay, or from good to bad. So maybe to be interactive, any questions, or maybe if someone wants to go by going to the specific area you want, and I don't know. Any questions?
The link to the tool is in the chat.
Thank you, Lakwana. Any questions? You can speak.
I don't have any questions per se, but just expressing gratitude. It looks like a very comprehensive tool. I guess one small question is that is there any way to like click into the variable details on the website? Like, is there, like, I see that there's the key with all the scores, but is there a way to read basically what you've presented today? Does that make sense?
That's additional work, but the report gives you, oh, did you check the get report, the one on the right one corner?
I haven't yet.
So if you click here, it's going to take you to another link. As you can see, it's, I hope the internet works. So this is also gives you additional information to get a report, which is bar graph. And at the same time, you can also request a specific information. For example, oh, I need, I have a research doing in PG County or whatever, DC or Richmond, and can you provide me additional analysis on this so we can also help you with that. But you can also do it by yourself because this graph also gives you a specific information for that area. We can also summarize the data, you know, because most of the policy are like based on district. So if you go to your representative and say, oh, my census tract is telling me this, may not understand, I mean, what you mean. But if you say, oh, our district has this issue, maybe it's significant for him because that's going to affect him for his election. So we can also help that. You can contact us. As I say, you need good internet. Right now I'm home, so probably it's going to take time. Oh, by the way, do you see my new link or you are looking the map?
I see the graphs. Yeah.
Okay, good. You see, it says waiting, so I don't know. So as I say, thank you for the good comments, and we are here just to help the partners do their work, and we can help you like creating maps, doing some additional analysis, well, which is related to GIS, but we have also air quality specialists working related to air quality. So you can contact us, and Lauren is the contact person for overall, and you can also contact us if you have any GIS specific questions. You can directly ask us. Maybe we will put our email in the chat, and I think it's additional questions. Okay, is there a way to do a radius 1 mile etc? Oh, okay. We didn't add a radius 1 mile or others right now, but in the future maybe we will try to add that. But we can also do that if you want additional analysis from this ArcGIS besides this. Okay. Well, yes, there is no, so actually there is no federal EJSCREEN tool right now. So I hope this Mid-Atlantic EJSCREEN gives an alternative solution to your needs. And thank you, Eric and Maria. So as you can see, you can search. You see, yeah, as I say, the internet is slow, but you can click in the search and go specific area to your specific location, and you will see all the statistics. I mean the domain statistics, and at the same time the overall composite statistics. So we put our email in the chat. So if you need any specific GIS mapping or data analysis requests, you can let us know, and we are glad to help you. Any additional questions? Yes, Eric, I think we have the guide, and we transferred the tool recently, so hopefully everything will be settled soon. So we are going to add the guide on the tool by itself. Well, if there is no question, I mean, thank you very much for your attendance. And as I said, we are very, very happy to do whatever we can, help the hub partners and any other interested in this mapping and data analysis related to this EJSCREEN tool. We are here to help you, and we are glad to get any feedback from you. You can also check the website, check the tool, and if you have any feedback, like maybe if you miss some indicators which are very critical in your area, you can also let us know, and in the future development of this tool, maybe from the current tool to the next stage, we will improve it. Right now we have 65 indicators included, but we will add more indicators which are like more local based air quality data in the future. So I think yeah, Bukola, do you want to add anything, or Lauren?
Just want to appreciate everyone for taking the time to come for the presentation.
Yeah, Lauren, maybe in terms of communication.
Yeah, so I don't have anything to add. Like they said, thank you. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and I can connect you with the appropriate people.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us, and have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.